Mayor, can you just tell us a little bit about the formal notice of default? Have we ever done anything like this? And what does it mean if they can't give you a plan that you believe in?
Well, it's in their best interest to give us a plan because there are a number of other steps. We're not going to go into detail because we want to show our hand in terms of our legal strategy, but they will hit them in the pocketbook significantly. So default is the next logical step. We've given them 6 months. We've seen some improvements, but clearly not enough to satisfy the public or members of council. So the letter will be sent to RTG tomorrow from Michael Morgan, because that's the individual that's responsible under the project agreement. And I'm not sure if they'll be surprised. I'm sure they'll be concerned because this is going to go straight back to their boards, and they recognize that after being very, very patient, our patience has run out, and it's time to give them a real kick in the pants to smarten them up.
This is a threat, though, right? This is a threat to tear up the contract?
No, it's not a threat. We're actually going ahead and providing the default mechanism that is required, that we now have to get a plan from them. We've laid out the timelines in terms of the next council meeting in April that will be presented to us. And they have to come back with a realistic plan and a timeline as well, because we've been down the path so many times when they've promised us a date, we're going to have 14 trains, or it's going to be ready for revenue service at such and such a date, and they seem to always miss those dates. So this is quite significant. I don't believe, Steve, we've ever done this with any other contract that I'm aware of.
No, we've had some minor contracts, with IT contracts in the past, but anything of this significance we've never done before. It's a very serious step within the project agreement. It basically is putting them on notice that we've taken the first step to terminate the contract should they not rectify the issues that they have not been able to meet. And we're going to outline what those issues are. We've given them till March 31st to bring back a rectification plan. And then within that plan, there'll be a time period of which they can cure the issues that they're having with delivering the terms of the contract to us, and we'll be bringing that back to council in terms of what we think our assessment is for them to cure.
What are some of the big issues that RTG needs to fix at a high level, like besides just getting the trains on the track? Are there systemic issues?
Well, it's a number of issues, as you've heard at the Transit Commission, brakes, catenary, and inventory issues. But again, that tone that I talked about a couple of weeks ago was the customer really doesn't care what the issues are. They just want great, reliable service. This sends a very, very strong message from council to the consortium. They have one job to do, and that's to give our customers consistent, reliable service day in and day out. It's not up to the city to fix those issues. It's not up to the city to hold their hand on those issues. Customers want their train to show up reliably and consistently. So we will be outlining all our expectations in the plan very clearly, and we're also going to be projecting forward so there's no more surprises down the road.
So it's going
Let me give you one example. I'll give you an example that we were told about. There's clearly an inventory a supply chain challenge where pieces are needed for the train, but they're either in the States or they're in Brampton, and we're constantly hounding the partners to get their act together. This seems to be a pretty simple task to get a piece from one city to another, yet it takes days and days when it should take 1 or 2 days with overnight delivery. So these kinds of things frustrate us. The fact that they're not working around the clock, I've told the president of Alstom and SNC, you need extra staff there to work 3 shifts of 8 hours so that you have these problems resolved in the middle of the morning before the trains are ready to go out, and then we have a train that's not ready because they didn't have any time to deal with it. So, look at this company, and these companies have built these train systems around the world, yet we're not receiving the quality and level of service that we deserve for the nation's capital. And quite frankly, this is why we're taking this pretty dramatic step to tell them to smarten up. We've got to get moving so that we can regain the confidence in the system and in their companies. Because as I've said many times, I've told it to the presidents themselves, your reputations really are in tatters, and the patience of the public and the politicians is reaching a very high level.
When would this have to be fixed? When would be the remediation plan? Like, it's one thing to get it by the end of March, but what is the timeline here for actually seeing a train that works for everybody?
That's a good question. They will include that in their report back to us if they don't go and start taking legal action against the default process, which is always an option for anyone. But the fact is that they will have to bring back a realistic timetable that will be vetted by our staff and then eventually approved by us at council. But we're not going to go and accept something that's going to take a year. You know, we're talking months, not years.
What would be too long?
What would be too long? If
What's
it
your
goes
limit?
beyond this year, it has to be, you know, my hope is that the whole issue is resolved by the end of summer at the very latest.
Thanks very much.